There we go.
Wonderful. Now I get to hear your voice inside my head.
Yeah, last week I didn't wear them.
I really thought it was
And
just a choice.
And you didn't even tell me about it.
I thought you just chose to do it that way.
You can hear a little better.
Yeah.
How was the weekend?
It was good. Not really much going on. Got some things packed up and ready for
Your trip?
a long drive.
We had family over, and I had a 1-year-old with me all week.
Oh, that's right. They left him with you.
Yeah, and I forgot what responsibilities it brings into the picture when you have a baby with you. It's very demanding, but we got through it.
Sounds thrilling.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Just make the boys watch him.
They didn't want any part either. No, they enjoyed their time with their cousin. So
Nice.
yeah. Besides that, I mean, the obvious news that hit over the weekend was the assassination attempt on Trump, which we won't really dive too much into because people probably don't listen to this podcast to hear about politics. But yeah, just terrible. I actually was watching it live. And it was crazy. We just got done with dinner and something came up and I clicked on the feed and that all happened. So, basically my only comment on that was it's just no place for that anywhere. I know it goes on, a lot in other countries. I actually saw a number where
Mexico.
Well, the Mexico thing is like astronomical numbers.
Yeah.
But as far as the United States, it's like 8% of the presidents have an assassination or had an assassination attempt. So I think there was 12 presidents that either were assassinated or had an attempt on their life.
Yeah, crazy.
That's crazy. But yeah, not too much more on that. The one thing we did want to talk about was this IRS article.
Yeah.
Were you able to take a look at it?
I was.
Caitlin, can you scroll down on this page? Yeah, just a little bit more. There we go. So what I'll do is I think I broke this up into like 3 parts, and I'll basically go through the first part, and then we can just kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
So this is from Accounting Today. So the IRS commissioner is talking about back in September 2023, there was an effort involved dozens of IRS employees reaching out to 1,600 taxpayers who had more than $1 million in income and owed more than $250,000 in taxes. It goes on to say the IRS collected $1 billion from these millionaires and has shown it, it can be successfully, that it can successfully launch new strategic initiatives and get a significant return on an investment. They stress the impact of increased funding from the Inflation Reduction Act, which gave them roughly like $80 billion. So it goes on, it says, let's see, investments in enforcement technology and data, if sustained, will result in $851 billion in additional revenue over the next decade. I think that Inflation Reduction Act gave them $80 billion over, I think it was 10 years.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then they go on to go through their process. So the process that they traditionally stick to when they were collecting this $1 billion is it says first you identify the delinquent balance due and you confirm it. And then the first outreach to the taxpayer is a letter to their home. We give them a reasonable amount of time to respond with a dispute or a payment. A lot of the taxpayers we reach out to don't respond, go figure. And we end up with a lot of back and forth to convince the taxpayer that they owe and that it's in their best interest to pay. These cases typically get closed after a lot of back and forth after initial letter. In cases where they don't remit payment, levies will be introduced. So, thoughts on that?
Well, any effort to collect the back taxes owed is good. I don't understand. Well, I mean, look at how understaffed they are, even with the additional funding to go after and collect these taxes, how they've been delinquent for so long. But the additional effort and push towards it is good in the sense that hopefully it could open up additional jobs. Because after a quick Google search I have done, the IRS only has like around 90,000 full-time employees with over roughly hundreds of millions of tax returns filed. So how can 90,000 that's just overall how many full-time employees they have, not ones that specialize in the tax return area. So less than 90,000 people that focus in that. So how could they ever keep up with all these delinquencies? So maybe with the additional funding and push towards this, they could open up more positions to collect the additional delinquencies and not just focus on the ones that are millionaires and such, or the people in there that haven't even filed tax returns in the first place.
Yeah. And this article goes into a little bit, and we'll touch on that in a minute, but definitely agree. It says, what was one of the, it says too often, this is a quote from the commissioner. It says, too often during the past decade, the IRS didn't have the resources to pursue high-income taxpayers to follow up with these people. So basically, kind of what you said.
Yeah.
The increased funding is obviously a big part of this initiative to, reading through the article, it was like, hey, we don't have the resources to do what we need to do. And it kind of it creates a snowball effect as far as like taxpayers go.
Yeah. Just piles up.
Part two of this piece, this is they said the 1,600 that they collected the $1 billion from, they also have another group that they're going after is people that haven't filed at all.
Right.
Also saying that the Inflation Reduction Act funding allowed them to restart their non-filer program, which has been dormant due to the lack of funding. So the non-filer program, remember that?
I've never even heard of it until reading through this.
Well, remember when they, was that when COVID and then they had the non-filers, remember?
Oh, for the stimulus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what they're talking about, or maybe this is just not that. Maybe this is.
I think it's probably more for them focus on people who should be filing
right,
tax returns.
Yeah.
That don't
No,
file
I agree. Yeah. I was trying to match those up, but I don't think they have anything to do with each other.
No, I would think
at all.
not. That's a big stretch there. It's a swing and a miss, bud.
Hey,
Tried.
Hey, at least I'm swinging. The that non-filer program just has directly to do with the people that aren't filing tax returns that should. Yeah. It also goes in, it says the IRS mailed notices to 125,000 households with income over $400,000 that haven't been filing tax returns. And I'll just read this next quote and we can discuss it. When the IRS is not meeting its mandate and responsibility to enforce the tax laws, it creates an atmosphere where an increasing number of people think they cannot pay or file their taxes without consequences, the commissioner said. That's why efforts like these are so important. This puts out high wealth taxpayers on notice that it's not in their best interest to not pay their taxes. I think it just falls into more along with the funding from the Inflation Reduction Act. It's just giving them more opportunity to
increase their efforts in certain areas. And, obviously nobody wants to pay taxes or pay more.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, anything to add on that second part there?
To me, it's just wild the amount of people that probably don't actually file their tax returns. I mean, especially knowing like the people that should be filing their tax returns that don't file their tax returns.
Yeah.
But being the IRS is understaffed as it is, they're just rolling the dice, see what happens, and hope they don't get caught up with them, which eventually then after not getting caught for years and years, it's not like that tax goes away. So it's only going to be more than had they just filed it in the first place. But I think it's going to be a long way off before they ever get caught up. because they got to get employees too. And then how many people really want to work for the IRS?
Yeah. I mean, that can lead right into this next section. They're trying to eliminate like the zero balance due audits. I think they think that might be just kind of a waste of their time.
It's a lot of wasted effort for.
And what they're trying to focus on is training revenue officers, bringing in more accountants. And it says in here we've had significant success as we've ramped up our hiring of accounting skills inside the IRS. So as we are calculating the tax due and penalties and interest, it's supported by a robust accounting skill set. Also goes into how they're hiring like behavioral science experts.
Which is interesting. But I guess actually, I don't even know how that would work in the system. But maybe trying to figure out the whys of people that don't file taxes or how they think to hide their money and such.
Maybe that's the AI.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if they can introduce AI, that could probably speed up their processes or
you would think
point out returns. I mean,
and save money.
As far as for people looking at ways to generate revenue or go after people, why is for the zero balance ones or ones that only owe a few $100, $1,000, it doesn't really amount to much. A lot of wasted effort. How much time and money do they spend on collecting a few $1,000s versus the ones that they're seeming to focus on the higher wealth and hundreds of $1,000s in owed taxes.
Yeah. I mean, I think the gist of that article is, hey, you gave us the money and we're trying to use it in these areas as best we can and beef up, some of our efforts and finally start collecting revenue that we've never collected before.
Yeah.
Overall, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I just got back from a EA show. Yesterday we were at the NAEA trade show here in Orlando at the JW Marriott, not the original one that I went to. I went to the wrong JW originally.
Oh, did you? Didn't bother confirming that before you left?
Well,
I'm pretty sure it's up on the website where it was at.
It was my phone's fault, so I still am not used to all these hotels in Orlando, and there's a lot of them. But finally got there and we got set up. It was a good show. They had an interesting first night. It was on a Sunday, which is a little different.
Right.
It was Sunday, and then at night, so they had classes. I think they had like an award ceremony for all the enrolled agents that are part of this organization. And then they had like a dinner with dueling pianos, and inside the exhibit hall. So that's where everything, like we were, everybody, all the vendors were. And it was cool. It was a good atmosphere. It turned up pretty quick. Dueling pianos is pretty fun. But it was a good show. I hope we go back again next year. But I kind of wanted to just touch on enrolled agents for a minute.
Yeah.
Because there's one sitting in front of me right now.
This guy.
Kind of go over the process of like getting to become an enrolled agent.
Well, for me, I mean, there's two different ways to become, but I would guess the more common way is the route I went, which is it's a 3-part test, which is individual business and I think circular 230 and ethics portion of the test. Then after passing all 3 parts of that, we submit a form and basically you get accepted. I mean, you got to pass the test with I can't even remember, it's like 75 or better, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And after that, it's just maintaining your continuing education hours, which is 72 hours for a 3-year period, minimum of 16 a year, plus each year you have to have 2 in ethics. Outside of that, then after the 3-year period, you got to submit a new form, pay your fees, and get renewed. So not a whole lot in it. The test's a little difficult. Some parts of it easier than others, but really, and then the other option would be, I think, if you worked for the IRS, if you had so many years of working for them, you just naturally qualify and become an EA.
Oh, they just give it to you?
It's something to do with that. So many years of experience or work with the IRS, there is a route in which you can not take the test and qualify to become.
Oh, okay. So like all in all, roughly to become an enrolled agent, how much is it going to cost the average person? Do you remember how much? Caitlin, can you pull up that second tab?
It's been a while. I think it might have gone up since I've taken it, but it's roughly $100 and some per test.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's like $60 some for your renewal. So the initial upfront cost, I think, is going to be probably less than $400 to take all parts.
So yeah, I mean, you're going to be all in $500, around $500.
Kind of, something sort of like that.
Okay.
It's not insanely costly. Only if you fail the tests over and over again, then ideally you pass them on the first go.
Yeah.
Like me.
I wouldn't.
I'm so smart.
Hey, I wouldn't think of any other way that would go down.
Yeah. Didn't you try to take it?
May have. Yeah. I didn't really want to go down that route, Tanner. That wasn't me.
Thought I'd bring that up just as a reminder.
I appreciate you.
But yeah, I mean, basically, it gives you license or to represent and practice before the IRS or represent clients before there. And then unlike CPAs, it's recognized by all 50 states versus where CPAs, when they move, if they move to a different state, have to apply for the state board there. So there's not any part of that for the EA.
We're laughing because Caitlin's running our production right now and she's a CPA.
Yeah.
Caitlin, I did see that they were trying to do away with the 150 hours portion of the CPA requirement. I've seen that. Yeah, they're trying. Whether they get that done, I think some states are like changing it up, but
yeah, I think each state's kind of a little bit different on their requirements.
But not Florida, Caitlin. No. What was that?
Not yet.
Oh yeah. The next thing I want to go to is this Zapier. Yeah. So have you ever heard of Zapier?
You mentioned it a few times.
Yeah, I've probably been mentioning it to you a while.
I kind of understand, but surface level.
Yeah.
Of what it does.
So basically, it's a software that you can basically connect apps to, and you can create tasks and actions, and with all these acts, it's basically the middle guy for the connection of all these apps.
Yeah.
And so what we're looking into as part of our software in the future is using Zapier to connect our software with other applications. Some of the things, I mean, you can go into, can you click on, go to solutions at the top? It's like the second tab on the left there. I know it's hard to see. Yep. And then actually go to product, one over on the left, and app integrations. There we go.
So it just kind of creates a hub where you can go to for one spot to access all your.
Well, no, it's like a connection. So let's say we create a task that we can use with the Zapier at some point. And let's say that task is the acceptance date on a tax return. So if we're connected, because you have to set it up in Zapier is what you have to do. So if you're connected, the tax return gets accepted, the date triggers, and then Zapier will read it. So it'll read that date's been, and then you can set actions off of that trigger to go into other. Go ahead and click on that.
So basically, it could be connected through like Google to fire off an email automatically.
Correct. So I don't know why it's not going, but you can do tons of things. They have like 7,000 apps, so you can do like Salesforce automations through it. You can do QuickBooks or Xero, whatever bookkeeping software you use. Email. So if you want to fire off an email once a tax return gets accepted, and it says, okay, you can send this email to the customer, because we'll be pushing certain information, not all information, but we'll push certain information down, and then that way you can use that information. It also works with ChatGPT. So you could, from what I've seen, you can like use ChatGPT to create certain things. I know ChatGPT, you can do plugins as well. And so like ChatGPT can like write emails for you based off of some of the information that you give it.
Gotcha.
Now you can also use it for like Slack or Teams messages. So say you have an office and you want to, make your office run as efficient as possible. So let's say we get a date. You set up a Zapier, or a Zap they call them, that will send out a Teams message to your staff, and then that will start the process of however you guys process tax returns or bill clients, or those types of things. So I think there's a lot of different ways that we can use this, and businesses can use this tool. I'm looking forward to really this coming out in the future.
Yeah.
So it's something cool, something to look forward to. I might want to do like a little challenge with you.
Okay. I'm on pins and needles here.
We're just going to throw this out there.
All right.
Because with Zapier, you can connect with a lot of things, and I think you can sign up for free, so we won't get into any costs with this challenge. But you're gone. Are you gone next week? Yeah. So when we get the next podcast, let's see who's got like the most coolest Zap, where we can try to make something efficient for your work life. And then we'll just bring it back to the table and discuss it.
Interesting.
Bet?
Yeah. Mine's going to suck. But I'll figure it out.
Hey,
you know, if you set the bar low and you exceed your expectations, you'll never be that disappointed. There's a saying that, and I think I messed that up.
Yeah, so if I get like a random Teams message that says, "Hi, this is from Zapier,"
Yeah.
then I know what's going on.
It's going to be perfect.
But I think it'd be good.
Just wait and see.
So we'll just we won't have to put anything. We won't have to put anything on it. Maybe we can do a little off-camera bet.
We can figure
Who would be
something
the
out.
best one? And Caitlin can decide the winner.
I don't like that at all. I've lost.
Hey,
I've already lost.
but yeah, overall, I think this is a good thing for us and for businesses out there. It can really, help your company do a lot of different things, and we're looking forward to diving into that in the future.
Yeah, with all the apps it's integrated with, once you build it out the way specifically to your company needs.
Yeah, and there's tons.
You
can go down a rabbit hole in Zapier. There's tons of professionals out there that do it for a living, like set businesses up
just with that product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so pretty cool. I just wanted to touch on that. And then what do we have? Trade show in Vegas this weekend. We have one and then we have the NATP event next week on Monday. That should be a good one. It's in Orlando. Hopefully I can find the right hotel.
Yeah. Hopefully it's just one hotel named that way.
Yeah, probably not. Actually, it's at the Dolphin. I've been there before, so I know where I'm going. And then the following week is the big IRS conference here in Orlando, which is just a giant show for us.
Yeah.
So other than that, we will get a next recording when you get back.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you.